What's going on, guys? Hope you guys are doing good today. This is the first episode of my namesake podcast. Hope you guys are doing good. Everybody can hear us good out there. If you cannot, let us know in the comments. I got my business partner, Daniel Golden, on here with us.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Can you hear us, everybody good out there? Can you hear us, Daniel?
I can hear you.
All right. So appreciate you guys joining us today. This is our first time coming on and talking and doing our podcast. We wanted to launch it and just get it started because you know how it goes. Sometimes starting things is the hardest thing to do, especially when you want to be perfect like I do. So how you doing, man? You doing all right?
Doing good. Excited to be here. I'm happy that we're starting this podcast. You're got your name on it. It's going to be a lot of awesome guests coming in the future. So I think it's going to be awesome.
Yes, and it's awesome to have you with us, with me on this podcast so that we can begin to show or maybe talk a little bit about what we are going to cover on these podcasts. Now, we don't want it to be just another podcast, right? Not just another live stream. We want to actually have informative guests on here. We want to have people who are in the entrepreneur world, people who are making impact, people who have stories of success and even challenge and triumph. So what is, based on what we've talked even before we got on here today, what is your like level of expectation for this podcast, Daniel?
I'm just expecting that this is going to really build our community of entrepreneurs that we have in our friends, so that we can all work together to achieve the things that we're trying to achieve. It's great to have a few good friends, but when you have that large network of people, if you're having an issue, there's somebody else out there that's already dealt with that, and they're going to be able to help you deal with that. I just think
Yes,
that
absolutely.
this is going to be a great opportunity.
Yeah, and to learn from others, because I think we can learn from our own failures and our own mistakes, which is obviously a big thing,
hmm
but to learn from other people and their mistakes and maybe some of their triumphs so that we can know how to get to accomplish some things maybe faster and more efficient. I think that's always a good thing. So I think I can attribute to where I'm at right now in my life to a lot of things, but one of the things I can contribute to is learning from others, learning from my mistakes, and just like listening to what people have been through and how they've changed
hmm
things and what they went to, how they went about going to get to the point where they're at. So anyway, so appreciate you guys watching, tuning in, and being a part of this. We are, we have set out for 2022 to be a great year. 2021 for a lot of people, actually for the last couple of years have been awful for a lot of people, including myself and family. What about you last year? How was last year for you and your family?
Uh, you know, uh, it was different, but we did have some really awesome news that we got last year. That's when we found out that we're going to be expecting a new baby.
Woo!
So I'm super excited. We're going to be having a boy. He's going to be due in the end of June. So I just can't wait for that to get here. But we found that out last year. Last year, I had my 1 year anniversary with my wife. It was just, there were some challenges, but we had a really great year overall.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, that is exciting. This is going to be, and you found out it's a boy, right? Did you
It's a
say that
boy.
already?
Yeah, he's a boy.
All right. So you're going to have a boy, and you guys are going to have that Power Pack family. And when is the big due date?
The last week of June is what we've been told. I believe June 27th is the day that they're expecting it to happen. So we're, doing the doctor thing. We're just waiting it out right now, trying to keep Haley happy, and but it's been a lot of fun so far.
Yeah. And I just had a little one too. So
You
we
sure did.
you won't be too far behind.
Yeah,
Miss
like
Ada's in there
6 months
sleeping right now.
behind you.
Yeah. Yeah. So that'd be pretty cool. So all right. So let's get into this podcast. This is going to be our first episode, guys. So it's really just talking about some of the vision we have and all that good stuff. But let me talk to you first, Daniel. Like what made you decide to partner up with me and what are you trying to accomplish, by being a part of what me and you are, have already started working on and working towards?
Yeah, so the reason I reached out to you is because something else that happened in 2021 was my wife and I started a nonprofit ministry organization called Called to India. And we have been working really hard in that. And we just didn't, things aren't developing as quickly as we would like them to, as far as donations go. And with her being pregnant now, it's kind of put a little bit of a slowdown on some of the things we wanted to accomplish. And I wanted to find a way to, support my family and to also sow into my own ministry, as well as other ministries. And, I've seen you online. We've worked together previously for a short period of time at a church. And I know that you have this serial entrepreneurship that you have been doing. You've had lots of great businesses that you've built, grown, and then moved on from. And I've seen you starting to stir the waters of things again. And I wanted to get in there and learn from you and grow with you so that I can do the things that God has laid on my heart that my family is supposed to do without having the worry of, are we going to have enough money for this? Are we going to have money for our food for our own selves, let alone to help the people in India that we're trying to help?
Yeah. And what, I mean, we've been working together for a few weeks now. What have you learned so far since we started working together?
So I've learned that it's about the effort you're putting in and the taking, the information that's available and then applying it to your opportunity that you're working on. You can know everything, but if you don't apply it, then it's worthless.
Right.
And you can know very little, but if you apply it really well, then you can really succeed in that. So that's one of the big things I've learned so
Yeah.
far.
Would you say that there's a lack of information out there?
I would say there's all the information you need is available. You just have to put in the work to find it.
Yeah. And also one thing that maybe you needed as well, and we all need it actually. So anybody watching, this is, I mean, no one's above this. Sometimes we just need to be pointed and, funneled in the right direction. And we know we have some things. Some of you watching have big dreams and big ideas and visions like Daniel and his wife do, but you just need a little bit of, steering in the right direction, and just like, hey, these are things that you could think about doing so that you can, and even if you don't do the exact thing you're told or advised to do, at least it gives you some motivation and confidence going forward. What do you say about that? Has that happened for you so far?
Yeah, you have an idea of what you want to do, but if you don't really know the steps to take to get there, it can be a little bit of a challenge to start because you just don't know where you're supposed to be walking, like what you're supposed to be doing. How do I get to where I want to go? So having that, coaching to know how to get started, how to do these things, what steps to take to achieve the goal that you're trying to achieve, you know, even some of the another thing you told me is about scheduling time for things. I've been working really hard at trying to schedule out times, and anything that comes up, I'm trying to make sure I write it down. That was always a weakness that I had before, is not writing down things and then forgetting I had something to do until the last minute. Well, I'm trying to now, going forward, work on keeping that schedule so that I know these are the things I want to get done. This is the time I've assigned to do it. So now is the time I need to work on it instead of doing something else and
Yeah.
ignoring the thing I needed to get done.
So so you're really using a calendar and maybe a to do list, planning to plan. That's been helpful for you. I mean, I think
Yes.
anybody who's living on this earth has to really be a great manager of time,
Hmm.
especially if they want to accomplish much, because you only have so much of it. And here's the thing: we don't even know how much of time we're going to have. Some people have a lot, some people have a little. Either way, none of us really know how much time we're going to have. And so being a manager of that is like, that's even more the reason why you should be very, 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 a stickler of your own time and how much you're using. And so that's good. That's good. So, anything else that stands out that you have already been as a takeaway, you said, hey, this is something I definitely need to do or could do or should do from since we've been working there.
I think just assessing yourself and the goals that you want to achieve, and make sure that you've clearly defined the things that you want to do, because if you haven't defined it, then you can't achieve it because you don't know what it takes to get to where you want to go.
Yeah. Got you. So awesome. Well, I'll tell everybody why I wanted to work with you as well, because one, we worked together a little bit, as you mentioned before. You've always been coachable and like open to new ideas. And then, you have a big dream. You have something that you want to accomplish. Not everybody has that, believe it or not. Some people want it, but don't have it. There's a
Mhm.
difference. You have a big dream, you have a big idea, you have a big vision, you have a big mission. You've verbalized that, pretty much since the beginning of since I met you. And so that was something, and you've taken action on it. Okay. Some people have a big dream and vision, but don't take any action on it. They wait and wait and wait until they're not, motivated enough because they have no, momentum, no confidence. You've taken action on it. When I met you, I think you already had a website up. You already had started talking about it. You were doing Zooms. You were doing, things that, most people would be like, well, I should wait to do certain things, and certain things have to fall in place before I make moves. No, you guys were making moves already. So when we sat down and talked about the possibility of working together, and then you said, this is what I'm trying to accomplish. I need some financial situations to start working for me and helping me. And I know you can help me with that. Saying yes is not just a need for me, but like saying yes to people that actually I know will be open to learning and being able to grow and expand and taking action. Those are the things. I mean, I can tell you all the best advice in the world, but implementation on your part is only when it becomes real effective, right? And
Right.
so I already knew that you had that kind of mindset, and then you have skill as well. You have skill, you have abilities and know-how. And so for those of you who don't know Daniel from my side, Daniel has great skill set. He's got a great personality. He's willing to work. He's obviously willing to take action. And he's got a big vision and dream, and he's trying to do what it takes to actually start doing those things. And he's already taken big steps already. And so working with you was really a real easy thing, as far as making the commitment, because we're talking about someone who wants to accomplish something not small, but something major. And sometimes it just takes partnering with some people to help you push you in that way. So that's, guys, if you don't know Daniel, meet him. He's working not for me, but with me. We're partnering together. Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about some of the businesses that I'm personally have started and already got cranked up, and he's going to help with those things. And but we're also partnering up. So he's a business partner with me, and I hope that he gets the benefit in a big way, both financially, emotionally, mentally, strategically, so him and his wife and family can accomplish big things. So, guys, hopefully, you guys that are watching out there root on these things, because when you invest in us, whether it's your time watching this, whether it's you buying a service or hiring us to do something, or even discussing any kind of strategic situation for your business or for your situation, no, it's contributing to a big cause here, right? So that's why I'm excited to work with you to see those things come true. So pumped up about that. Guys, if you have any questions along the way about entrepreneurship, about finances, money, investing, real estate, these are the things that we are going to be dealing with and talking about a lot. And we hope to be able to release to you guys some things that will help you actually get started if you're not already started in these vehicles. Daniel, talk about something that you're excited about that we've talked about. We haven't launched yet, but you talk about one or two ideas that we've talked about that you're kind of excited about. Go ahead and let the cat out of the bag, if you will.
Yeah, so we're gonna be doing this uh, entrepreneurship training, entrepreneurship training thing. So we're going to be having a group that you can join with us on Facebook, where we're going to share information with you on a weekly basis. We're going to be giving you all the things you really need to know on how to be a successful entrepreneur, and we're just going to provide you the information that you need. We're going to have these live meetings with you. We're going to have the ability for you to schedule private meetings over the phone or over video with us, so that you can learn the things that that we're learning and the things that we already know, so that you can become as successful as you can be.
Yep, for sure. So if you are an aspiring entrepreneur, if you're one that's already started owning your own business and running your own business, and you just need some vision, you need some encouragement or confidence, maybe some strategy, these are the things that we want to do with you, right? Now, we obviously are a business ourselves, and so we have some paid opportunities and where you can work with us and we can coach you, we can give you some strategy about these things. But we also have things that we're going to just absolutely just give you because we want you to be successful, right? So, one of the areas, if any one of you know, have been following me for more than a minute, real estate investing, I'm a big believer in and an action taker in, and I'm just glad we're in America because in America is a great opportunity if you want to get into real estate investing. And I'm not talking about being a realtor. No offense to any realtors out there. I'm talking about investing in real estate. And the myth out there, or the idea behind real estate investing is that you got to have money and you got to have credit, you got to know certain things, and all those things can help you do real estate investing better and more quickly. But you do not have to have those things necessarily to get started. And I think one of the things that most people don't do is they don't start, they wait. And sometimes waiting causes you actually more delay than anything. And so I would just say, guys, you know, get in the game. You cannot win a game you're not in. And yes, you're like, well, I'll do it later. I'll do this. I'll do that. Get in the game. And in the game can mean start learning about it, start getting information about it. As Daniel already alluded to, well, let me just ask you, Daniel, have you learned anything about real estate since we started working together, both with me and online?
Yeah, I definitely have. I've learned about, different types of investing that you can do, from wholesale selling to holding the real estate as a rental property to flipping it. There's all different sorts of things that I've learned so far.
Now, are you convinced now that you know more information and seen some evidence that you do not have to have necessarily great credit or a lot of cash on hand to do that?
Yeah, there are opportunities available for people that are willing to put forth the work, that don't have the finances on their own, to have people, come in and help them in that process.
Yeah.
So it's definitely doable.
Yeah. So guys, I'll just tell you right now, if you are not into real estate investing and you want a vehicle, a platform, an opportunity that will help you build wealth, okay? Will help you make money and build wealth. Real estate is one of the best ways to do that, right? Real estate is one of those things, especially certain type of real estate that does not really get affected by economy, whether it's high or low. Real estate has opportunities where if you understand how to, strategize and do it, then you can really take advantage of it in a great way because everyone needs a place to stay and a place to live and a place to buy and a place to rent. Everybody needs offices to rent out. They need, real estate in all categories really is strong. Now, some of you may have some scarcity in your mind or some fear about whatever, and you're like, well, if I put my money in that, what happens when this real estate bubble happens, right? Well, if the bubble happens, it happens. But the whole idea behind real estate is to own it, where one, if you do it right and you pick the right kind of real estate, you don't get affected, or even if you do get affected, you know how to hold on to it and hold on it through the downturn, so to speak. But I'll just say this: my opinion is there won't be a bubble like before. There might be a tapering off of this boom, or it might be a little dip down, but I don't forecast or foresee a burst where it all blows up in everybody's face like before. There was definitely some things in place that allowed bad actors in the real estate field, like mortgages, etc., that have caused a lot of bad situations to really just not have no long-term game and plan and long-term health economically, and therefore something had to give and something had to burst. This time around, the real estate market is booming, as you know, especially if you live in the great state of Florida. Everybody's migrating to Florida like it's a new country because of non-state taxes and the beaches and, the freedom of government and things like that. So people are moving to Florida. If you come down here and up, let's say up north, you bought a home for $400,000, you probably have a small apartment for that money. Down here, that can get you a pretty good size house, probably anywhere from 2 to 3, maybe even 4,000 square foot or bigger, and you'll be just happy living in that probably for the rest of your life in most cases. So you can get a lot more bang for your buck down here. So people are moving down here like crazy, and so if you're in real estate, this is a booming situation right now. There's very little inventory, and people are moving down here, and so it's, if you own something and wanting to sell it, you're in a good situation and all this good stuff. But here's the thing: I don't think we're in a situation where if a lot more people start selling or whatnot, I think it might just, like I said, just might have a small dip down or it might taper off. But bursting would mean that there was something behind the scenes not stable long term, and it had to give. And there's really nothing that's going to do that, right? Even with the economy being what it is, where the dollar value is going way down and there's a lot of cash circulating, it does not really affect real estate in the way of, as far as bursting, right? It does affect real estate in the way as far as, more people are going to need certain things in place, like, housing and et cetera. So anyways, long story short, get in the game,
That's
right?
right.
Just get in the game. Get in the game, start learning, and we're going to hope to deliver to you guys here very soon some opportunities for you to jump in and learn about real estate investing, how you can get started, hopefully how you can get started and get your first deal in 30 days or less. Yes, that's right, 30 days or less. We can teach you, show you how to get your first real estate deal in 30 days or less. I know I sound like a salesman, but the honest truth is we're not going to charge for this information. We're going to pass on what we've done, what I've done, to be able to get real estate deals in 30 days or less, right? And you don't have to have necessarily cash or credit to do this, right? There is certain things that you would need that for, but we'll show you all those things. So we hope to deliver to you very soon and announce to you how we're going to open up an opportunity for you to learn how to get started into real estate investing and do something so you can get your first deal in 30 days. How exciting is that, Daniel?
It's awesome. I can't wait to really get in the deep water with this, like learning, teaching others the things I've learned, really getting involved in the buying and selling the deals that we're going to be setting up. I can't wait to like get out there and get started with all this stuff, and to have all you guys that are watching participate with us, because Frank and I can do a lot by ourselves, but the more of us that are working together, the more that we're going to accomplish in this. So let's teach you guys some stuff, partner with you at the beginning, and get you out on your own eventually. You're really going to like this information that we're putting together for you. It's going to be something that you wanted to do for a long time. You've never known how to get involved. You know, I remember when I was a kid, they would have infomercials on late at night about people trying to tell you that you could buy real estate and you didn't need any money to do it.
Was that Carlton Sheets?
I don't remember who it was, but it was a
It was the
guy,
older. It was the older man.
yeah,
That
in a
was
house,
Carlton Sheets.
telling you
Come
how you
on.
could do this. And as a kid, I'm like, okay, well, I'm 10. I can't do this. I'm 10 years old. But knowing that,
What were
this
you
is
doing up so late, man?
it, couldn't sleep, should be sleeping, couldn't sleep. But this is not like a new thing. This is something that's been
Yeah,
going on. People in the know how to do this. They've known about it for a long time. So it's not just like this is just something Frank made up and that you're just, gonna have to figure it out because he's the one that knows it. No, Frank has learned from others. He knows the deal because he has seen this. We've seen it work. So it's not like it's something that's not working. It's something that definitely works. You just have to be willing to, put in the effort, like we talked about earlier.
yeah,
Everything takes effort. You can't just sit here and say, okay, I'm gonna buy a house. No, no, you
yeah,
can't just do that. You have to like do the effort to get there.
yeah, yeah. And again, get in the game. Get in the game, right? This is not something new, like you're saying. Um, what I wonder if you can remember, and this will be a reflection of how good I train or teach, but I wonder if you can remember what I said to you or asked you. What was the question I asked you that kind of cemented how strong real estate is? You remember the question? On the spot.
Um, I can't remember exactly what you said, but I do remember it was something about, does you know, does everybody have to live somewhere?
Yeah.
Um, and
Well, I'll tell you the question. You'll be like, "Oh yeah, I remember now." But remember I asked you, when's the last time you could remember rent
oh, the real estate went down.
rent
Rent went
went down?
down, and rent hasn't ever gone down.
Yeah, in your lifetime, anyone watching, can you remember the last time rent went down? And most people cannot remember that because it hasn't. And that should tell you right there, just that thought process of how strong certain real estate is, even in crisis, even in economic turn downs and droughts or whatever people call things, depressions and, whatever whatever they call it. Real estate is a strong investment, very strong, and it can create wealth and it can help you leverage certain things, right? So if you want to be in it full time, if you want to part time, if you just want to learn it, whatever you want to do, we're going to hope to release some information so you can join and learn how to jump in it. I'm going to cut to a quick situation. I want you guys to listen to this real quick, and then when we come back on this, it only takes like a minute. Daniel, let's get into maybe some questions that you have. All right,
Sure.
let's play this real quick, and then on the other side, we'll go from there. Yeah. So listen, guys. The reason why we wanted to plug that is because it's real simple to work with us. All you got to do is schedule a call. The call is absolutely free. And we want to find out what you're trying to accomplish, your dreams, right? Your vision, your financial situation. All right. And then when you get on the call, we're going to learn that about you. And then we're going to help you, right? With laying out a strategy, giving you ideas and tips, how to get customers, how to build a business, how to start a business, how to get involved in certain things that will help you, right? There's so many people that are watching or would watch, maybe on the replay, that are struggling financially. They're in the grind, right? They're in the hamster wheel. They're doing the 9 to 5. And there's nothing wrong with that because that's what most of us have been taught to do. And we're trying to be responsible and take care of our situations, our responsibilities. We're trying to feed our family. And we just know what we know, and that's it. But because of the internet, most of you already know there's more opportunity. You just may not know exactly which one or, um, you know, which one you want to do, right? So it can be very inundated with information. And so hopefully myself and Daniel can come on the phone call and give you clarity, right? So one thing that I love is that you cannot get confidence until you have clarity. People don't have clarity because sometimes they have too much information. They're over inundated with information, and the internet can be that way. You can literally get over. I mean, the way they do things like put things in front of your face. I mean, they're getting really, really good with this stuff, right? When you go on Netflix, it suggests things for you because of the type of movies you watched before. Well, now YouTube's like that, right? YouTube will,
Mhm.
if you go on YouTube for one thing, you end up watching 8,000 other things. So you can get distracted so easily because of the internet, and it has all these things going on, and it's very noisy and crowded. And so let's say you're going on the internet to try to find out some more information about whatever, and you end up learning all this other stuff. And some of it could be interesting enough where you kind of get on a rabbit trail. And
Mhm.
now, maybe you've done this for a week or two or maybe a month, and now you're not necessarily confused, but you're not very clear. And so if any of you are trying to start a business or have already started a business or want to get into some real estate investing or want to start to find out how you can increase your income and be able to do more things with your time and with your life and with your family, book a call. Go to that website right here. Let's see if I can point my finger the right way. Whoop, there it is. Oh, no. That, there it is. That was kind of weird there. Anyways, Go to my website there, frankammons.com. Click on book a call. It is free, guys. There's no charge for it. We're not going to try to sell you anything. What we're going to do is we're going to give you information that will help you when you get off the call. And yes, you can work with us on, coaching and things like that. So whatever you might need. And yes, some of that does cost money. But my point to you is get on the call. You never know. It might be something so enticing to you that you cannot say no to. But at the end of the day, my goal is when you get on a call with me and with my team, like Daniel, we will make sure you get enough information to be actionable and see results. So, Daniel, tell them, again, why they should jump on and get a call, create a call, or schedule a call.
You know, you have to take the initiative. If you are sitting there and you're thinking, well, I want to do that. I want to start a business, or I want to expand my business, or I want to try that real estate investing they've been talking about. Then that's your brain telling you that you need to schedule that call. Uh, like Frank said, that call is not it's not an obligation to pay for something. It's you finding out information so that you can do what you want to do. Obviously, you want to do it, or you wouldn't still be listening. You wouldn't still be sitting here watching this video or listening to this podcast unless you were interested about the things we're talking about. So we're offering you this free opportunity to find more information to help improve the things that you already want to do. And yes, like Frank said, if you want to progress and you have more questions and you want to get more one-on-one time, then you can, sign up for a paid session. But we're offering you that first call, to tell you the things you need to know. And you can take the steps that we tell you in that call and go out and do them and have success.
Yeah.
But if you listen to the call and you still have more questions, then we're still there. We can become a coach for you where you can, reach out to us, on a weekly basis or however often we set up, and you can get more information. You can get more, okay, well, now here's an actionable step for this week so that you can go out and take the next step on a week by week basis. Some people can listen to everything at once, get it, and go. Other people need that little bit more of a I'm going to hold your hand and walk you through this type scenario. So whatever kind of person you are, this first call is where you're going to learn what you can do and how we can help you get there.
Yeah. And listen, we're running a business. So this is a for-profit business. So yes, we have services that you can pay for. We're not trying to hide that or be sneaky about that. But at the end of the day, some of you may be able to afford what we do, and some of you may not. Either way, book a call, because when you get done with the call, you're going to have information that you can take action on right away and begin to see results. So my hope and my vision is, if you can't necessarily, you don't have the money to pay for services that we offer, that at least you can start doing some things that at some point down the road you will be able to hire us and we'll be able to have a future client and customer. And trust me when I tell you this, for those of you who have been on a call with me and with my team, you will be able to leave that call and have confidence and clarity, which I think is the one of the huge things you can have when it comes to actually taking action, right? People do not take action, Daniel, because they don't have clarity. They don't know which way
Right.
to go. They don't have confidence, right? And those are the two things that they have to have in order to take action. A lot of it's not even being lazy or procrastinating or not wanting to do it, not willing to do it. It's more like, which way do I go? Which direction do I take? Which business should I start, or which ideas should I take action on? And you just need clarity. Who here that's listening to this or watching this needs someone in their corner, needs someone to push them, needs someone to help them and give them some vision. And yes, I will say this, I don't know it all, but I do know enough about businesses and starting businesses. I've failed and I've been successful, and that puts me in a situation where I can give you some of the things that will help launch you in the direction you need to go, so that you can go out there and actually begin to start seeing results. And that's what you want, results, right? You want freedom, right? Our goal as a business is to create freedom for you, help you create freedom. And we mean financial freedom, so that you have freedom of time. What is freedom of time? What does that mean to you, Daniel? Like freedom of time, how can you accomplish that? And what does that mean to you?
So freedom of time means to me like the ability to not be stuck somewhere just because I need to make money, but that I have the money to be with my family. I have the money to do my ministry. I have the money to just accomplish the things I want to do without having to worry about any of those things. I don't have to worry if my family is going to be taken care of because I know that they are.
Right.
That's what freedom means to me.
Yeah. And now, what is your opinion of how, or I should say, the best way to try to accomplish that?
You know, there's these opportunities that we've talked about that where you can get things like real estate that's going to make money for you long term without you having to put in a lot of effort once you acquire a portfolio.
Right.
There's things that you can do today to set yourself up in the future where you're not having to grind so hard to get the things that you need.
Yeah.
You're doing the work now to reap the benefits, in the future.
Yeah.
So I think that's how you get there.
So, real estate investing is a great vehicle. Another great vehicle is entrepreneurship in itself.
That's right.
Because if you create a business that makes money and you can do it to the extent where you actually have a team and you have a system in place and you scale it enough where you really just have a business in place, it can become a wealth building machine as well because it's your business, right? But a
Hmm.
lot of people have businesses and they're really just hired themselves as their own employees, right?
That's right.
They're self-employed, but not they're not necessarily have run and created a business where it's actually, profitable enough for them to be able to leave or step away. Now, don't get this confused, guys. When Daniel speaks about freedom and not having to be stuck in the 9 to 5, he's not saying he wants to be lazy. He's not saying he doesn't want to work. He's just saying that if he's going to work, it might as well be towards something that's going to create a recurring income, a passive income, or an income that's consistent enough where it builds him up to be able to have freedom and flexibility, right?
That's right.
Most people work like, and I don't know how many hours. I had the stats before. If they stick to the traditional route of employment, and they don't have a ton to show for it, right? Maybe a pension, maybe a 401k, and of course, retirement, or what's it called? Social Security, right? So they may have some of those things, and some of you guys may be just fine with that. So if you're fine with that, this probably is not for you. But for a lot of people who are in our same area or same category of thinking, they're not okay with that. They don't necessarily. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I don't want to work until I'm 62 or 3 or 4 or 5, whatever it is, until I can get Social Security. I want to be able to maybe not quote unquote retire, but not have to work the 9 to 5 or the hours it takes, past 50, which is less than 10 years from now. Right. So I have a 10-year plan of doing certain things that's going to get me there. And I'm either going to accomplish that before or very, very, not very far after that. Right.
Right.
So following that plan and putting that in place, that's what's important because I want to have freedom of time, not to do just nothing but to be more with my family, raise my kids, be able to create memories. And yes, I have to do some things to put that in place. I have to work hard. I have to, work with people, partner with people. I have to give up some opportunities and sacrifice. So when Daniel speaks of this, when I speak of freedom, we're not talking about we want the easy way out. We're not talking about we don't want to do any work. We're not talking about being lazy. We're talking about being very, very efficient with the things that we do with our time now so that we can continue to be able to have more and more time. Because as we spoke in the beginning of this podcast, time is something we don't know how much we have of, and it should be something we are very sacred of using, right? So, anyways, guys, book a call. Whether you are starting a business, wanting to start a business, whether you are struggling financially and you're just looking for other opportunities. If you're working a job and you know that even though the job is paying you decent, but it doesn't really give you freedom of time, or the job doesn't pay you enough, whatever your financial situation is, you need some clarity about how to actually get out of that or to add something to it. Get on that website and book a call today because I can help you where you can work for those things so you can have more freedom. So let's go into the questions. Sorry, we went on a rant there.
Yeah, that's okay. So, we must have both been thinking about the same thing when we were coming up with the questions to talk with each other about,
Okay.
because your first question and my first question are almost exactly the same. So, I had wanted to ask you, what is your expectation with regards to the work that we're going to be doing?
Well, our expectation is to help a ton of people achieve financial freedom, right? And I think the vehicle we're going to use the most is entrepreneurship and investing in real estate, etc. But entrepreneurship, I think, is the housing or the vehicle or the platform that I think, even in real estate investing, right? You can create a whole business doing that if you want. So that's being an entrepreneur. So I want to see more and more people achieve financial freedom so that they can do, like for you and your wife, you guys want to do something in India, you want to be able to reach a lot of people, and that is not free. As much as that's with your compassion and heart, as much as you don't do it for money, you still have to have money, you know. And so financial freedom for you is something that's important for you to be able to do what you are called to do. So you got to have that in place. And I don't know of anything that anyone does that money is not required. I mean, whether it's turning on the lights in your house, whether it's eating food, whether it's driving a car, I mean, that's just the way the world works, is that it requires money to be able to do something. So when I go into a restaurant, Daniel, and I sit down, and let's say it's a high end restaurant, and if you've been around me for a while, you know that I love steak. I can actually cook the best steak in the world, by the way. But I go to certain places that I know cook pretty good steak or have the best premium meat, and I've paid a couple $100 a plate for places, but they don't give me that food because they like me. You know, they don't give me that food because I dress. Some places have dress codes because I dressed according to the code. They don't give me that food because I have something as far as like you know skill set or thought process, or because I was polite. They give me that access to their food and their benefits only because I have had the ability to create value enough for someone in exchange for currency, and then I can use that. So basically, they give me that because I have the ability to get access to it,
Right.
right? And I know I've chopped it down into very small thinking, but that's the truth, right? I have access to that because I have created the ability to create a value for someone in exchange for money, and then I get enough money to be able to have access to that type of thing, right? So that's what people need to understand. You can have access to certain things, primarily like more time, more freedom, because you built up the wealth to do that, right?
Hmm.
And so that's what I want us to accomplish. I want to see hundreds of thousands, and I'm not trying to be sensational here. I want to see hundreds of thousands of people work with us in some capacity, and be able to say they were able to accomplish it faster or even accomplish it, period, as a result, right? Financial freedom, the flexibility to do what they're wanting to do, flexibility of being able with their family more, and just be able to move around without the constraints of having to go trade their time for money, right? Because that's what a 9 to 5 is. And I'm not downplaying it, right? If you have a 9 to 5, go work it, girl. Get it done. Go do your thing, dude. Do what you got to do, right? But if you're in that situation where you're trading your time for money, you are a slave to money still. And I know that's kind of cringeworthy when you're trying to speak on this, but it's the truth. You're still a slave to money. You want money. You don't want to work for money. You want money to work for you. Come on
That's
now.
right.
And that's what money was meant to do. It was meant to be a resource to help you achieve more by having more freedom, flexibility, and resources. And if you take money and do the typical things that most people do, then you're not creating more resources or more wealth for yourself, and therefore you're going to have to always go get more of it, right? You're going to always have to trade more time for it. And so what you have to do is you have to figure out a strategy. I call it the freedom strategy. What is your freedom strategy, right? What strategy do you have in place that's going to create you financial freedom? A lot of you guys have a strategy to make a lot of money, and that's not the same. Okay. And I know some of you have never made a lot of money, so therefore you think that's what you got to do, and that makes sense in theory. Let's go make a lot of money because you need to make a lot of money. You want to make a lot of money. You have things you want. But no, what you really need to do is create enough wealth for yourself so you can have freedom and more flexibility in being able to use your life and your time better. So, anyways, that's my main goal. That's our goal, is to create more financial freedom through the vehicle of entrepreneurship.
So you had mentioned that you want to be able to basically, you know, transition into a lesser working facility at around age 50. So my question was originally, do you have a 10-year target? And you kind of mentioned that you do have that target to be, quote unquote, retired, not retired at, at or around 50. So maybe you can tell us like one or two things about what you want to do in that 10 years to accomplish that goal.
Well, I mean, I think we hit on one. Continue to create more and more assets in my real estate portfolio. Begin to buy uh, diverse assets in real estate. Be able to, create the recurring passive income through those opportunities. So that's one of the strategies. Get better at it, get more knowledgeable at it, network and partner with more people, and be able to get into these deals where they're going to pay me not just today, but for a long, long time. Right. I mean, the idea is for them to pay me past when I'm dead and gone. Right. Pay my kids. Right. So a lot of people think about flipping, which is one of the ways you can definitely make money, but really it's holding real estate and holding on to it, because if it continues to pay you, that's the best way to create wealth, right? Flipping a home is great, and I will teach on that, but it only gives you a one-time, financial benefit. But
Right.
if you are able to hold on to the real estate, not only are you going to get continuing money coming in, but as it appreciates in value and goes up in value, you get more and more of it, right? And you bring down the debt of it if you have debt on it, and then you bring up the value of it. And it works like this: the debt is here, it goes down, but then the valuation goes up, and then therefore you have a huge amount of cash flow coming in, and then you just start collecting that, right? So flipping a house may be how you start because you need money, but that is not the long goal. And I don't want to get into much of real estate, but my strategy, back to my strategy, is creating businesses that actually have good cash flow and a work in a system with a great team. I'm not necessarily looking to work in the businesses, but being, being in the acquisition field of buying businesses and helping them grow and scale to the next level. And then, education, training people, helping people, coaching people, helping people go to the next level, creating a team of people to help people go to the next level. So I kind of have like three buckets: real estate investing, acquisition of other businesses and scaling those businesses, and then of course education, online education, coaching, things like that. So that's my strategy. All three of those have great opportunity of creating wealth, not just money, because that's the difference. Wealth needs money, but what more importantly, wealth is about ongoing money, right? Even if it's a little trickle, right? Even if you had $100 coming in every month, it's a very small amount in most cases for most people. But that's actually that's one small piece towards wealth, right? So that's what I'm talking about. So real estate investing, creating that passive income, buying businesses that have good cash flow, and then of course, teaching people, training people, and having materials out there that actually create ongoing. So that's my personal strategy, and based on chopping down the time and scheduling the time and looking at how long it takes to do things, and putting projections together and pro formas and all this stuff, seeing that done in 10 years, I think I'll be sitting in a really good place by the time I'm the big 5-0.
And what's one piece of advice that you know now that you want to share with the community that's watching that you wish you would have learned way earlier in life? So something that if you knew, when you were 25 years old, that would have changed the way you've done things in your life.
Oh man, there's like hundreds. Um, well, I just let me stick on topic. I mean, I wish at 25 years old I would have been collecting assets, that create income instead of my mindset was very limited because I was like, I know I need to go make money. So making money was the only thing I was concerned with, right? Make money, hustle, be an entrepreneur, be a business owner, go figure out how to sell something. Those are all good things and those are all skill sets and ideas that help you get there. But I did not think about, nor did I know that I need to go actually be creating and buying assets that keep paying me. I wish I would have known that. And so even now that I'm 40 years old, it's still not too late. I mean, people start way later than me. And so it no matter really how old you are, guys, whether you're older than me or younger than me, do it now. Create and buy, because you can do both. You can create something like a business or a course or a training, and you can also buy businesses or a course or a training or real estate that continues to pay you. That's an asset. Any asset that will continue to pay you income is what you should be collecting. Not expensive watches and fancy cars. I mean, all those things, buy it, but only buy it after you have the money coming in from these income streams. Buy it then, right? Uh, those are the things you should just like focus totally on, even if it's a small trickle, right? Go buy a vending machine route that pays you $200 a month after all the expenses. That's $200 a month that you can continue to count on, right? It don't matter the size. It really matters is just go collect it. Collect more and more assets. That's what I would do at 25, and I would already have hit that goal of 50 probably by now or earlier. So for sure, collect assets that continue to pay you. That's what I would do.
How do you keep yourself motivated on a daily basis? Like what when you wake up in the morning, what do you say to yourself to like get yourself going?
Well, there's a lot of things I do, but one of the main things I do is I create commitments and standards. A lot of people talk about setting goals, especially at the beginning of the year, like we are now. Well, we're almost into the second month already, but around this time, they're talking about goals. They're talking about setting goals, the new year, that kind of thing. And I'm not against goals, but I think goals have been so, over stimulated that at the end of the day, it's really watered down the whole idea behind goals, the concept behind goals. And so really goals have become more like wishful thinking. Like, oh, I wish to do that. I hope to do that. Right. And that's when people set a goal. But what's going to actually get you to that goal? And that is, in my opinion, when you create commitments. And commitments for me is I need to accomplish something. And these are the steps by this time, this day, this month, this week, and then I have someone attached to it that if I can't get it done or don't do it or for some reason I neglect it, that there is a penalty to pay, right? Because you know that's what keeps me motivated. I mean, first of all, when I look at my children and my wife, that's plenty enough motivation because I don't want to let them down or hurt them or give them anything less than what they deserve and all those things, right? But and that's good in theory, and most people understand that and can relate to that. But how you actually get your butt up and doing it and getting to action, I do it by creating commitment. So if I have a goal by 50 to be financially completely free and a certain number of monthly revenue coming in on its own without me doing anything, then I have to have certain strict goals now, not later, now that get me there.
Right?
Especially if I in being specific, right? I called them wild commitments, Daniel. I don't know if we've talked about this, but I called them wild commitments, WILD commitments, because I literally like to use acronyms sometimes to help me remember. And wild stands for writing them down, the W, and I stands for make them impactful. Impactful. Don't make them small that no one is insignificant and you don't care. Then or L means make them, make them with long term mindset of long term, the long term thing. some people do make goals, but they don't make them long term enough and make them lasting, right? So kind of a double meaning for the L. And then D, make them daily, like review them daily, um, adjust them daily. So WILD commitments, write them down, make them impactful, lasting long, and then daily, right? And if you do that and you just continue to, because they're going to change and evolve, things are going to help them get done faster. Sometimes there's going to be some delays that slow them down. And so constantly looking at them and changing them and making sure that you're on task for them. But also attach pain to when you don't do it. And what I mean by that is have an accountability partner, like a coach or someone who can keep you on track, right? Me and my wife were joking the other day. Somebody should create a service, like a personal training service, that you pay them up front, and if you don't show up, they come to your house and knock on your door and ring the doorbell until you show up, right? Like they just aggravate you until you do it. And my wife's like, "You would not like that." And I'm like, "Well, that's what I need." Right? She's like, "Well, you know, like," I said, "Well, what if that person was paid all up front, so I couldn't really get out of it?" She's like, "Well, you would just say, go tell them to go away. What if that person was relentless and didn't stop ringing my doorbell or trying to get me to come, work out? Then that probably would work, because at some point I want someone to stop ringing the doorbell, right? So there's always got to be something in place of not achieving it that makes you not feel bad where you don't do anything, but like feel like, hey, there's some kind of negative effect of this if you don't do it or haven't done it. So get your butt in gear, because I've always, we want to avoid those things, right? So that's what I do is like, hey, if I win or if I accomplish it, here's a little prize. If I don't, here's what you need to do. Like, you need to double down on it until you get it done. So I don't know. Maybe that answers your question, but that's what I do.
Awesome. Let's see. So you've done a lot of different businesses over time, and you've used that experience uh, to work on what you're working on right now. Is there anything that you've learned that was something that you wouldn't want to do again? Something that you've experienced in one of these previous businesses that you're like, well, I know I learned that the hard way. Let's not do that.
Again, there would be a long list for that too,
Yeah.
because I've failed so many times, guys. And I think being vulnerable and being transparent about that is a lot of what people don't want to do, because it makes them, you know, associates themselves with failure, and so you're trying to associate yourself with success so that you can, help people perceive that you're able to accomplish stuff, right? But I think, and I don't want, you're going to be the first to know this, but I'm actually writing a book about this very same topic, like literally the power of failure, right? That I think failure actually helps you be way more successful. I think it's the best teacher that you can ever have. And I've learned way more from failure because I've tried things, and either I didn't have the right mindset and didn't have the right information, or I just chose stubbornly not to do the right thing. Whatever it may have been, I failed many, many times. And so, there's a ton of things I would do different. And what I try to do is not stay in that state of loss, but in that state of the lesson that it taught me. Right. So if you stay in the state of loss, it may cause you not to do that again because you're afraid of failure. Right. So many people do not act on things because they're afraid of that F word, which is failure. And a lot of it is because they tried something similar or saw someone they're close to or know fail in the same way.
Hmm.
And it gave them a fear that infiltrated their their belief system. And now they're hesitant and they're trying to avoid that, right? And I'm a big component of avoiding failure too, but sometimes, most of the time, you have to face it and even fail in it to know better, right? Your own experience is going to be the loudest voice in your head.
Right.
But you have to funnel that experience and that voice in your head through the filter of what if it does work, not just what if it doesn't work, right? So
Right.
if you're going to hear inside your internal head, what if it doesn't work? You also have to counter it with what if it does work, right? And if you're those that just talk about what if it does work and never talks about what if it doesn't work, you're just as foolish, right? So for me, I've talked in the beginning, I did a lot of what if it does work and didn't think about what if it doesn't work or if it doesn't work the way I want it to work,
Mhm.
right? So as I've got older and I've got hopefully more wise, I've taken the failures of not thinking about the what if it doesn't work, it doesn't work the way I want. And I've said, hey, I need to start thinking that way. But I don't want to live there because that would stop me from even making a move. It'd keep me in a state of hesitation and indecisiveness. It'd keep me from making any moves towards making progress, or it would create a false narrative, which is fear of not doing anything, right? And that's where people stay sometimes. They stay in the fear of failure, right? The fear of failure is worse than failure itself
That's right.
because I want to say this, and I want to say this, in a way where it's provoking someone to maybe even get upset with me. Failure is your friend, okay? Failure is your friend because here's the deal: failure will teach you what most people cannot, what you can't even learn. Like we did talk about how you can find out a lot of information out there, especially online, YouTube, et cetera, read books. But until you go through some things and you fall on your face and you fail, you're never going to learn it. And it's never going to impact you the same way until you fail. Right. So I just want to say that, look, I've failed a thousand times over and over again. And those have been my greatest lessons. And that's why I'm able to say to you with confidence, not just from success, but also from failure, that I know this is what you should do. And most people just want to talk about success. Nope. I want to talk about failure because failure is, in most cases, the better teacher because success keeps you in a state of comfort and like, oh, you made it or you've done something good. So you don't have to think about it as much. You don't have to have the same quality of approach anymore. But failure, man, you fall on your face. It'll keep you humble. It'll help you understand you ain't all that. It's the best teacher. It's the one that keeps you in the straight and narrow. And so I've failed a ton of times, Daniel, many times with opportunities, with time, with people. There's a ton of things I would do different, and I have a whole list of them, in literally a whole list of them. And I'm actually putting together a book that's going to be talking about what I learned from those things. So whether it's dealing with people and how I, either treated them or how I approached them or what I would do different, I got a ton of those. If it's opportunities that I failed at or missed or didn't take full advantage of or didn't look at the right way, I got a ton of those. If it's, my time that I've, wasted and not really, utilizing the right way, I got a ton of those things that I've done. But at the end of the day, I don't sit and remain with it being something that, I'm a big failure, right? I literally understand that set me up to where I'm at today. And I hope and I really believe that it's helped me become way better because I've decided, and that's the key, making a decision that I'm going to learn from that and not just let it be a loss, but let it be a lesson. So, yeah, failure to me is a big component of why I'm successful.
Well, that was a lot of great information that you were able to share there. I do want to just remind people that if you have questions or you want information about how you can be successful, how you can put your name on the board, then take advantage of booking that call so that you can speak one-on-one with Frank or myself and get some real information that's actually going to help you proceed on the things that you want to do. Um, I we've given a lot of good information. We've shared about ourselves. We've shared about our opportunities we have coming up. But if you want to get involved, the next step is yours. And the ball is in your court, as they say. We can only share so much. We can only give so much. If you don't respond and reach out and say, "I want to be a part of that," then you're going to sit where you are, and you're only going to achieve the things that you do for yourself without help from us, because you haven't asked for the help.
Yeah, guys. So book a call. I'm assuming that you're done with the questions. You wrapped them up.
Yep.
Awesome. Great questions, by the way. Appreciate you doing that. Book a call with us today, guys. We don't know it all, but we do know how to, figure out some things, even if we don't have the exact answers. But I can tell you, if you're wanting to start a business, or you just started a business, or you're in a state of not knowing how to go to the next level of your business, you should book a call, because I'm going to give you some strategy, give you some confidence, give you some clarity on what you can do to really figure out some things. I'm a very resourceful person, right? So I can give you even things that will help you do what you need to do right away, even if you have the restraint of money or lack of money, so that you can build that up, right? So get on the website, frankammons.com, book a call. You'll either have myself or Daniel, or sometimes even both. Well, we'll be able to walk you through. We'll learn about what you're struggling with, what you're facing, and we will not condemn you or bash you or make you feel bad. We're here to help you. And yes, we will have the opportunity to offer you some opportunities so you can join us in our coaching programs, whether you want to get into real estate investing, whether you want to increase your income, whether you want to start a business or take your business to the next level. That's what this is all about. If you need some marketing ideas and strategy, if you need to learn how to build a team, if you need to learn how to pick a platform that'll help you expand and scale your business, if you want to learn how to actually cash flow your business and what you could do to do that, right? So there's a lot of options out there, as I've said before, and sometimes it's all about just having clarity of what the next step should be that will create actual returns for you, right? One of the things most people struggle with that I talk to personally is they struggle with how can they expand their income? How can they increase their income? How can they do it without quitting their job and risking it at all? How can they do it? Well, there's certain things you can do with that, right? So do yourself a favor, book a call. There's no obligation to buy any services, and it's absolutely free to book a call. And when you get on the call, you will leave that call with information and actionable steps to help you actually achieve more of what you're trying to achieve when it comes to your goals, right? So appreciate you guys tuning in today. Daniel, we got anything else we want to cover before we wrap up?
I think that's it.
Yeah. Well, we've had a successful first podcast, in my
Yeah.
opinion. I don't know about what you think, but
I think it went real
uh,
well.
yeah, I thought it was good. Great interview, by the way. You got some great interview skills. So we're going to have to utilize that, right? Maybe even one day start your own podcast so you can interview people. But my point to you is thank you for doing this, Daniel, jumping on. Guys, get used to this. We hope to post a interview or a podcast of people we've interviewed, either myself or Daniel or both, every week, right? And we want these podcasts to be informational, not just blah, 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 but really where you can be informed and educated and actually get excited about opportunities like real estate investing and education and entrepreneurship, etc. So look forward to the next one. Daniel, again, thank you for doing this. Anything
So
else?
Frank, one more thing.
Yeah.
So, we've got people watching us online right now, watching us live on Facebook or live on YouTube. Where else can they find the audio version of this podcast?
We're going to post it on the Frank Ammons YouTube. You guys can go to the YouTube channel. Matter of fact, on that YouTube channel, we have some great business advice on there. I posted my best success business tips of 2022. I've had a lot of great feedback about that. So go on there. That has, I can't remember how many tips I put on there, but at least 10 tips of what you can do with your business in 2022. But we'll post this and all the podcasts on our pages, Facebook pages, Instagram, and YouTube. So you can find a recording of this and other recordings on YouTube.
All right. Awesome.
Guys, appreciate you guys coming on. Until next time, we'll see you then.
Have a good day.
You've been listening